Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively the Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Hello, book lovers. Welcome to Must Love Books. Hello, and welcome back to Must Love Books. Today, I am here with author S.T. Fernandez. S.T. Fernandez, also known as Stephanie, is originally from Orlando, Florida, and was born to parents from La Isla del Encanto, Puerto Rico. She now resides in the beautiful small beach town of Ventura, California, with her husband and their 2 wiener puppies. Stephanie is an avid reader of all levels of spicy, steamy romance, mostly in fantasy, historical, or paranormal genres. Just as much as she enjoys disappearing into a good book, creating a story that readers can disappear into brings her immense joy. She's currently working on her second book in the fantasy romance genre, full of wonderfully diverse characters and themes. S.T. Fernandez's fantasy romance intertwines Puerto Rico's Taino indigenous cultures, beautiful themes and languages into a fantasy world. She is thrilled and excited to present it to readers when completed. Welcome, S.T. Fernandez. Stephanie, hello.
Hello. I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here with you, and congratulations on this new venture of yours. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. And congratulations on the release of your first book, and you're already working on your second one. Why don't you tell us all about it?
Yeah, The Legend of Gasparilla is a story that is near and dear to my heart because I fell in love with the tale when I went to college at St. Leo University, just outside of Tampa, Florida, where there's more cows than people. Although it is growing from what I understand in the area, so that's always good. But we used to venture off and go to the Gasparilla Festival or the Gasparilla Parade over in Tampa, Florida. It occurs every end of January, as it is this month, which is really exciting because I'm going to be celebrating on my socials, and so it's a story that I fell in love with because Jose Gaspar is this. There's several different versions of this tale. The one that I adored was the one that was, the Spanish admiral who fell from grace because some ex-lover accused him of stealing the crown jewels. And so he escapes and, falls into piracy. But many of the tales that I researched with regard to Jose Gaspar were very pirates, and oh yeah, there's this romance with Josefa, which is off on the side, but but it's mostly like pillaging and treasure hunting, which is all great for pirates, right? We love that in an adventure tale. But I'm a romantic, so I wanted to change it into something that romance readers would love, because I'm always stuck in a romance book. So I took the tale and made it my own. And I hope that it makes people from Tampa Bay happy and proud. And it's one of my favorite cities in the United States. And yeah, that's kind of that. And to this day, Jose Gaspar's legend is celebrated in the Tampa Bay area. So it's a really cool tale. It's a really cool thing to be involved with.
That sounds amazing. And I really love when people take actual historical figures and bring them back to life, essentially, through their works and their words. And I love that you are sharing that story with all of us.
He's got a lot of history to him that I wanted to bring to life. A lot of Spanish culture, very rich in that regard. And, this takes place, on the Florida, peninsula and so forth. But I wanted to also pay homage to the Caribbean, right? Because that's where a lot of Latinx culture, resides. And I wanted to bring that to life as well. It is very exciting.
So I love how you compared your book to a couple of comp titles. You have Daughter of the Pirate King. That's one I recently read over the summer, and I was obsessed. And it's actually how I found your book, was trying to find more piratey tales. And as soon as I found yours, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for.
I do feel that pirate books, regardless of whether it's the POV of male or female at this particular point in time, is so huge right now.
Oh yeah.
And it really warms my heart. There's just so many, and I'm like, yes, this is it. Let's do it, because I feel like there weren't enough out there, and this is kind of a little niche that a few authors have found themselves in. I'm proud to be among them because they're kicking ass. Pardon my French. I don't know if we can say that, but
yes, we can.
hopefully that's okay.
Yeah, I love that. And, I've always been a huge pirate fantasy and pirate fiction fan myself for many years, since I was a child, which honestly probably started with Pirates of the Caribbean, as for many it did. But I love how not only is the pirate fantasy market expanding, but we're also getting more and more tales of true history being interwoven in with it. And it's not just the fantasy aspect, but we are also getting, to learn about some actual historical figures in the process.
Yes. Yeah, and that's important too, like I love intertwining historical elements in with my writing and in with my romance. I tend to lean more plot than spice. Well, with this one, I leaned more plot than spice. My next one is plot and spice, and that one, what we can talk about later. But yeah, but the Legend of Gasparilla is kind of, it's paying homage to this tale, and I, of course, through my steam element in there for readers like myself who enjoy it. I love the steam. Give me all the spice.
All the spice. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your writing process and your inspirations?
My writing process. I have been, the next one that I'm working on, I'll go ahead and use that as an example, because I feel like that kind of like solidified my process a bit. But I really love to plot it out. And as I'm plotting it out, my mind just starts going. I don't know what divine spirit comes in when I'm thinking of these things or plotting these things out. But I have my phone on me and I go into my Google Docs and I just start, like, if I think of a scene, I am throwing it down on that document. And I keep kind of plugging away at those things while I develop the actual plot arc. And then I start thinking about my characters, and Abby Emmons, I think I'm butchering that name, but she has a YouTube channel that I've been watching, and she's brilliant. And she has really helped me to hone in my characters and develop my characters. What is it that they like? What is it that what drives them? What are their specific personality traits? And I feel like I've developed to be a better writer through those methods, and really brought the characters in my next book, in my romantasy book, to life using those particular strategies. And then, once I slap that first draft down on paper, which is not a very pretty draft, I'm telling you right now, as I'm going through and editing my first draft, and at times wanting to bang my head against the desk, I get the first draft down. And, I start working on editing the first draft and putting in, all the bells and whistles, as I like to call them. And then I alpha read, alpha edits, editor read, editor edits, beta, art team, and then to the world.
Excellent. Well, it's good
In
to have
short.
like such a, yeah, in short, there's not much very short about that, but it is really good to
I
have
know.
such a detailed and specific process to follow, because you're not really flying by the seat of your pants. You have a very set method, and considering this is only your second book, to already have such a specific and developed method, I think that is really going to be an excellent tool to help you succeed, not just with your current writing, but any future projects you may have as well.
I 1000% agree. Like I'm kind of I'm so happy with how everything has transpired. Like I had this big dream of getting traditionally published. I queried my first book back in my dating myself in my 20s, and and then I queried this one as well and went through the entire query process. I got the rejections, I got all of that. And you know what, honestly, rejections are part of the process. So any listeners who are writers and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to get representation, don't let it discourage you, because it's part of the process, and you're gonna get them. You're just gonna get them. And there might be something wrong that you have to go back and revise. There might be something wrong with your letter. I highly encourage getting a professional to look at it and make sure to tee that up, and I think every publishing path is brilliant. It's good. Everything is good. As long as you are putting your passion out there independently or traditionally, just do it and learn and grow, because what readers have taught me, they are the teachers. They have, well, some of them more kindly than others, but but what readers have taught me humbly, that I put forth, and that I'm very, very humbled by their feedback, is where I need to work on as a writer. I'm kind of glad I did do this independently, no matter which direction I decide to go in the future, because readers have taught me how to be a better writer. And I think that is something that all readers, bookstagrammers, book talkers should take with them, is to provide that feedback for your authors. I encourage you to do that kindly, but do it, because we appreciate that feedback, especially from our art team. Our art team, whew, they're amazing. So
Well, you're a real writer when you get rejected, whether it is, rejections from agents or negative reviews or negative criticisms from beta or ARC readers. You're real once people don't like something you've written.
yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I've made it,
I'm going through the querying process for my first novel, and the moment I got my first rejection for an agent that I was querying, I immediately went on Instagram and I'm like, well, I'm a real writer now because I just got rejected.
It's a badge of honor, I mean, and it's good to get that, because you can just get it out of the way, and it's not
Exactly.
personal. It's
It's
not
not
personal,
personal at all. It's never personal. And it's always good to get that first rejection out of the way, because even if you're expecting it, a part of you is going to maybe sting a little bit. Part of you might be a little disappointed, but rejection is such a huge part of the process, especially if you are focused on trying the traditional route. You're going to get far more rejections than you get acceptances. And uh, that's the way it has to work, unfortunately, because every agent can't take every book. Even if they love it, you're still going to get rejections.
1000%. And it's so funny, because I don't think, but the silver lining in all of this is that readers don't know what is traditionally published and what is independently published most of the time either.
Yeah, unless
Right?
they're
I
like
mean, of course you're going to
specifically
know.
looking for it. Yeah.
One of the things I love about the Bookstagram community is how supportive they are. They are super supportive, and to indie authors, to authors in general. So I mean, that's kind of been such a breath of fresh air to find a community like this that is so cool. They're just awesome.
And that's something that comes up in almost every author interview that I have on this podcast is just how important the connections from Bookstagram have been through their professional work as well as, their personal development. How we're able to, build connections with other readers, build connections between authors and their readers, and connect with other authors as well. We have really created this really close knit and such an important community here through Bookstagram as well as through Book Talk.
Shout out to my Book Talk people who are actually I'm on Book Talk because I love Book Talk. I go on there often. My Bookstagram seems to be pumping a lot more than Book Talk, but I still appreciate my Book Talk reviewers as well because they're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about this new project you're working on? What details can you share with us here?
This is, I'm keeping, I didn't mean to do this, but I'm keeping with the Florida theme. I don't know why, but it just happened. This one, I actually started writing before The Legend of Gasparilla. This was my initial project. I didn't know enough about how to create a story when I wrote it. I just kind of threw it down on paper. I learned so much since then that I did a complete rewrite on it. So it is an Atlantis retelling. And yes, and we're dealing with water fae, fire fae, earth fae, air fae. We bring all of that into this beautiful world. So there's all kinds of fun elements into it. You have fated mates. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Fated mates. You've got prophecies. You've got spice. You got some spice. But yeah, it's just your classic fantasy elements. I haven't released a title or a book blurb yet, and I promise that is coming. But yeah, that's where we're currently at right now. Yeah.
Well, that is amazing, and I will be sure to include links to your social media profiles in the episode description so that, maybe if you have more information by the time this episode releases, they can hop
Absolutely.
onto your page and find it. And if you do have a title release by the time this episode is ready to release, let me know, and I will include that in the description as well. And if not, everyone will just have to stay tuned. So we're going to shift gears a little bit away from your writing and into your reading. Why don't you tell us, what book are you reading right now?
So I'm currently reading the Book of Azrael. And I'm enjoying it. I think the next one that I have up, well, I mean, I'm reading so slow. I'm a very, very slow reader. I've been reading this thing for over a week, and that's usually not my style. I usually read about 2 books a week. And I know some of the Bookstagrammers listening to this are like, just 2. Because they can fly through books so fast. But my next one is I'm kind of in a toss up between Sinner by Sierra Simone or Gold by Raven Kennedy. So I'm in between the two of those. And of course, House of Flame and Shadow by House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I think everyone is waiting for that release. I'm like itching for it. Because I just got to know. I have to know details, and I'm not spoiling anything, but I just have to know. So those are kind of 3 books that are on my horizon right now that I'm just like, please come to me. But yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I always have a list of like several that I want to get to. I didn't used to be a person who like plans out the reads I want to, hit next, and it was always just kind of whatever I was in the mood for, of like, oh, this looks good today, I'm going to pick that up and read it. And sometimes I'll finish it and sometimes I'll switch and read something else and then go back. But lately I've been planning out like, oh, these are all the books I want to hit January. These are the books I want to hit February. These are the books I want for March. We'll see how many of those I actually stick to. But I have been doing a little more planning in regards to my reading, and I think that's going to kind of help me with my Goodreads goal for the year.
I am embracing the mood read in 2024. I am like, I've never been a mood reader. Like I've always felt guilty for reading what I want, believe it or not. Like I'm like, oh no, I got to get this off my TBR. So I just kind of go, I used to be religious about like, I'm hitting whatever's the oldest on my TBR and I'm just going to work like that. And then my book besties are like, you've got to read this. I'm like, yeah, but I just added that to my TBR. It's like 2 years away. It's like all the way down, all the way down there. I'm not gonna be able to get to it. And then they're like, Stephanie, just read it. And I'm like, okay. Don't attack me. I will have fun reading this. Thank you very much. And so I kind of had to alter my strategy. And then now I'm just like, you know, I feel like I'm in the mood for an indie author this week and I want to, you know, read an indie author. Or I feel in the mood for fantasy and, you know, maybe I feel like I need to take a smut break and I need a YA novel. And, you know, like I go with the flow of like what I feel like, you know, and I read all over the place. I read all over the place. If you follow me on Bookstagram, you will see I am, in fact, all over the place with my reading and unapologetically, because you know what? That's just the mood that I'm in.
So we're kind of switching our reading strategies for 2024. I was always just, you know, whatever I felt
Right.
like for the day. Now this year, I'm like, I need to focus on my TBR. I got way too many new books last year. I need to focus on getting them all read this year.
It's so funny that you mentioned that too, because like I have books coming in and now I have like a physical TBR and I'm like, oh, I actually have like a physical TBR and I'm like, yeah, I'll put it over there. I've got so many on my physical TBR. I'm like, oh my goodness, Stephanie, you're doing it. You're like being one of those. And but you know, I'm enjoying myself. So that's the name of the game.
Yeah, I've got book stacks all over the place.
It's a sign of a good reader.
Yes, exactly. I mean, at least we are enjoying it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to have you play a little bookish game that you've probably seen on Bookstagram here or there. It's called This or That. Let's start with, do you prefer to buy new or buy used?
Ooh. Oh, I really I'm gonna have to say, oh God, this is terrible. Um, I do buy used because I've always been like that. But I'm starting to kind of dive into the new because there's something about a new book. And so I don't know. I shout out for those who use deallaws.com. That is not like I'm not paid by them to say that, but it's super awesome. Like if you've never been to deallaws.com, you can go there for new books too, and it tells you the best price for the book that you're looking for, both a new, used, rental. Like it's pretty sweet. That is my favorite site to find used books. Oh, but there are new on there too. So and also good to support other box stores other than Amazon as well. So
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check them out.
yeah,
Okay, do you prefer paperback or hardcover?
in a perfect world, I prefer hardcover.
Do you prefer to read a book with a movie? Do you read it before seeing the movie or after seeing the movie?
Before.
I used to always be before too, and then just lately I haven't had the time to catch up on reading them. So I've been watching everything before getting to the book. And honestly, I've kind of enjoyed that um as kind of a nice break from how I normally do things, because like then I get to just enjoy watching and not like, well, in the book they did this and in the book they did that.
I know, but I feel like I'm cheating if I do that. You know, like, I don't know.
Maybe.
That's something that for me, like I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this because I feel like I need to like honor the author by reading the book first, and then I'll get really mad. I'll sacrifice getting really mad, you know. about like, oh, like for instance, Shadow and Bone. Oh Lord, have mercy! Did I get so angry? We won't get into that. The show is not long enough.
Yes, that was actually the one that started me watching before reading. It's been sitting on my shelf for longer than I care to admit. And the show came out. I'm like, well, do I pick up the book and start reading? And then I saw some clips on TikTok. I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait until I have time to read the books.
Yeah.
And I binged the whole thing in like a day. And then I went back and watched it several more times while waiting for the second season. And I have started reading the books since then, finally. But I didn't read anything until the first two seasons, and unfortunately, final seasons came out. So I only knew what there was in the books, and I've heard things, heard about like some of the differences, and I know that they combined a lot of stuff from the
Yeah.
different series. But honestly, that one, oh, I could do a whole podcast just on that show and the series.
No, definitely. Definitely. What is the male main character's name? Mal? It's Mal, right?
Yeah, Mal.
Okay, so book Mal, the book Mal has nothing on the TV series Mal.
Yes,
TV series Mal, like,
oh, he devoured him. It was, yeah, so
yeah,
I
book Mal
obviously
is kind of,
I saw TV Mal first and I started reading, and book Mal is just so bland and kind of annoying, and
preach,
he just does not
preach.
seem to really even care about Alina anywhere near as much as the actor in the show. Like, he did a fantastic job. I want to meet him and just tell him, thank you for making Mal a likable character, because he kind of sucks in the books.
Amen. Yes. Like, I was like, I'm like, book Mal had me rooting for the Darkling all the way. I'm like, like, it just, it just had
And
me,
I
and I
kind
was like,
of
where's the
wonder,
Darkling? Where are you at, boo boo? I'm like,
right? Like, he's so, and I almost wonder if like that was the original direction for the series. Like, maybe he was supposed to suck because maybe the original plan was to be an enemies to lovers Dark Lena romance. Maybe that was the original end game, because I can't see
I'm kind of
him.
wondering why she didn't go there.
Exactly.
I'm desperate to know. I'm desperate to know because Lee Bardugo, someone must, I always tell my book friends this, somebody must have done Lee Bardugo wrong. Somebody must have done her wrong, because all the potential romance that is there is like right there. Perfect enemies to lovers. And like, I'm like, somebody did her dirty because she don't like romance. Like, that's what I say all the time. Even though I adore her books, I do. And I think she's a brilliant writer. Like, I'm just like, just lean into it, girlfriend. Get that romance. Please just give us that mother frickin' HEA, because I wish she would just lean into it more. But, yeah, everyone's got their own writing style.
Yeah, and honestly, I know that a lot of people were not happy with some of the changes the show made, but I honestly like the
Yeah.
ending. I mean, it's more of a cliffhanger, but I like Alina's ending in the show better than the book ending. Because spoiler alert, her ending is just giving everything up and going living on a farm with the most boring character of the entire Grisha universe.
And I think that that's where the divide, because I don't know that got renewed. I thought I saw something from Lee Bardugo that said that
Yeah, it was
unfortunately they're not, which I
canceled.
was bummed about.
Yeah,
Ah, I'm so
Netflix
bummed about
canceled
that.
it.
Like, I'm like, come on. You know, we're always getting screwed. I mean,
Right. Netflix
they
needs
couldn't just,
to they need to figure their crap out, because Netflix cancels far more shows than they allowed to continue, and I don't know if that's on purpose or what, but like, how many shows can you think of that actually got more than one or two seasons? Like, there's only a few things.
well, I'll tell you what, if they cancel, not Netflix, but Hulu, if they cancel that Avatar, there will be riots in the streets, and I will be there.
Seriously.
Because that needs to happen. I need ACOTAR in my life. I need to see this thing come to life on the screen.
It has been years in
I
the
hope that
making
we're
now
all there, like,
too.
yes, yeah. And I hope we're all there, like at a watch party, just desperate for the next episode. Like, I want my people. So, you know, I will be there with wine and popcorn and all the things. Give me all the ACOTAR things, my special editions while I'm watching.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they're going to. I know that they were talking about a live action before, but I've heard some rumors, and of course, these are just, the rumors of the internet, and they mean next to nothing. But I've heard some whisperings of maybe an animated series instead of live action.
Yeah, but real talk. Let's have real talk here. Because the thing that pisses me off to no end is that if Sarah J. Maas was a man, this thing would have been out there ages ago.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and all of this. And let me tell you something. She has created a world, a fantastic world, multiple worlds. And they're just as good, if not better. And that's my opinion. And whatever, people can come after me. I believe that this woman has created a world that is competitive in that market. And I believe, yeah, an animated show is great, but why does that need to be just because it's lower budget? The woman deserves all the budget in the world. She deserves all the budget in the world because she's created something just magnificent. And like I said, if she was a man, this thing would already be out there. Oh, he's
Honestly,
so
it probably
fabulous.
would be.
All
Yeah.
the accolades.
Well, and that brings up a really good point. Like, how many female authored adaptations do you know of that get that major kind of, obviously there was Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling, but I feel that was the exception. And so, like, what other female authored series or novel has gotten such a massive budgeted adaptation?
Outlander.
Yeah, there was Outlander. Recently,
I would say Outlander, which I was excited to see the director from Outlander involved with ACOTAR. That made me happy.
That
I was like,
definitely
okay,
a good sign.
A Discovery of Witches also
Excellent. Yes.
Yep.
And Deborah Harkness actually has a new novel coming out later this year for that series, which is great. Now that that would be the second book after the trilogy. So maybe we can, get a couple more seasons out of that show. I don't know. There's a lot more content for it.
I'm hoping that we do. I'm hoping that we do. That was one of my favorites. It really, it's inspired me to start thinking about my own witchy book that it's back here somewhere. I'm not giving it any, and it's after my vampire book, which is again back here somewhere, and I'm not touching it just yet. But yeah, I mean, it's inspiring, but I think that there needs to be what's the word I'm looking for? Coming to Jesus, for women writers. I mean, what in the world? I mean, like, it's romance. Well, and the other thing that really grinds my gears is, you're reading pornography, or it's, it's inappropriate, whatever the case may be, but yet they flick on their TV and watch their favorite show, and what do you get? You get steamy scenes, in between all the action and all the other things. And I'm like, there are writers, who put all of those elements into their writing.
Yeah, like, even if something is
and
not
even
necessarily...
if they didn't, there's nothing wrong with that either. But
yeah, exactly. But even if something is not necessarily part of the romance genre, there is often some kind of a romantic subplot involved in it, especially with things like action movies. Like there's always, a leading lady.
Yes. Yes. Hello, James Bond. It's like a thing,
Yes.
like it's like, like I don't understand. And I think it's just because women dominate romance. We dominate. And I think my husband looked it up and he's like, it's the second best-selling genre. I think the second best-selling genre. I
No,
forget what the
it
first
actually
is.
it actually is the first. Romance is the
We'll
number
see.
one
And then
selling genre. Number two, I believe, is thriller/mystery, and romance basically laps it in regards
see,
to book publishing. I'm
and
not
that's my
sure if the
thing. It's
same
like I
holds
just
true for movies. Movies might be different. I've never looked into that. But for books, at least, romance is not only the biggest draw, book selling and book profit wise. It is by a massive, like, thriller and mystery are number two, but they don't even come close. They don't even touch it.
um yeah, I know. And that's my thing is like the reason why we're not up there on the Hulus and the having these wonderful adaptations, on Netflix and all that stuff is probably because women haven't infiltrated that market yet in terms of like build those jobs for directors, and build those jobs at Hulu and Netflix. It's all run by men, and what inspires them. They're not diving into a court of thorns and roses, like majority. I mean, it's so nice to see when a man reads a book like that because it's like finding a unicorn, you know?
Yeah, I think by finding a
It
unicorn, I
really
think that's a pretty accurate depiction.
it's always fun when I see the pictures like of people finding a man reading that book because it's like, oh my God, I found one out in the wild. And it's lovely.
Yeah. So there's more women authors than men. There's more women readers than men. So why are there not more women-led adaptations than there are for men? You are
Yes.
absolutely correct. That is a market that is, it's disproportionate, and it is definitely an area that we can improve on.
No, definitely. I mean, look, I like what Reese Witherspoon is doing. I adore the moves that she's made, but she's making moves that the patriarchy approves of. So,
Yeah.
for example, Daisy Jones and the Six is not romance. That does not have an HEA per se. It's got a little bit at the end, right? It's got a little something at the end. And I'm not sure if you've read that one before, and I apologize. I hope I'm not spoiling anything here, but like it for me, like I look at that, and then there's other books too. Like it's always like the drama, like it's more drama, more, but it's never like a romance centered story. And I worry about that. People, especially in the literary circles, like they look at romance as just this thing, right? This thing that sometimes doesn't get the respect that I think it should, in my opinion. Because, there are some really effing fantastic romance books out there that are written beautifully. And, people are missing out on the content of these books. I think they're fantastic. This is the hill I can die on, by the way. I can go on for hours on
Oh,
this.
absolutely.
It's gonna be
Absolutely.
lunchtime over there. You're gonna be like, Stephanie, please shut up. And I'm gonna be like, okay, yes, yes. I am so sorry, Krystle.
You are so, so good, because I am loving this conversation. And yes, I do agree. Reese Witherspoon is doing great by bringing, she gets a lot of books and she like immediately buys rights to them. And so many of them do get made into, movies or TV shows. But we can't just depend on Reese Witherspoon to be the one to, like, we need more women in the industry to kind of take up arms. And she's doing an amazing job, but she is just one woman, and she doesn't need to be the only woman representing book adaptations. Like,
Yes, absolutely. Like that's my thing is like, because we're beholden to what mood what mood read is Reese Witherspoon. What like we're beholden to that, and I think that, this is our time. I think um there's been so many things that have been happening in our world, especially with regard to women and our rights and all of the fun things, which I don't want to get into in this podcast. But I think it's because we are meant to lead. We're meant to lead, and we're meant to just kick ass and take names. That's what we're supposed to be doing in this world. And I think that I especially try to convey those types of messages in my writing. That if you're not down with that kind of theme, don't read my shit. Pardon my French again.
Yes, applaud.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You
So
you get
basically
what
what
you
we're
see here.
saying
So
is Reese, get some more friends that read books too. And also make some more adaptations. Reese Witherspoon, one excellent example could be let's see, how about The Legend of Gasparilla?
oh my goodness. Oh God, the dream to dream the impossible dream. Um
Exactly.
I mean, it would be lovely. I would love the Legend of Gasparilla to even be a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, I mean, but I'm sure that's every pirate author's major dream, is that Disney picks them up, I mean, I'm not saying that I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and that I lived and breathed Disney, like literally almost born in the castle or anything, but it's cool. It's cool, Disney.
It's
It's
cool.
cool.
It's cool. You just keep doing your thing. We'll be here waiting.
Right. Oh, I don't have a VIP pass or nothing. It's cool. It's cool.
It's cool. Yep. Need any ideas for more pirate rides or anything? Pirate TV shows, more pirate
Right?
movies. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a good pirate movie come out.
I know. I know. We really need some. I'm all for it, man. Pirates are sexy. And it's so funny because it's like, you always see all these pirates that are like "arr" and like like just like funny. They're always put like funny portrayals, or
Yeah.
like goofy portrayals, and I'm just like, pirates are sexy. What are we doing here? Give me some hot looking pirates. I want it all day. Yes, Jose Gaspar.
Exactly. Have you ever thought about, like, when you're writing, and do you ever like cast your characters? Either when you're writing or something you keep to yourself, or like, if my book was ever made into a movie, this is who I'd want to play, anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. All Latinx characters or actors. I want Latinx actors, except where, of course, it's not appropriate because they are not a Latinx actor. I think, the industry needs more Latinx actors. They are out there, and I hope and I pray that, that it's conveyed in my writing, and that we that's the thing, is like, I look at it sometimes and I'm like, wait a minute, why are you casting this person for this role? Like there's so many other, people who are Latinx actors that could have done it. And I think that is kind of my role. I do write a lot of diversity though. It's not just Latinx characters though. I try to kind of mimic the world that I live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like we need this flow of beautiful characters, LGBTQ, black, brown, purple, like I want it all, aliens, blue. Let's throw some aliens in there. I'm an ice planet barbarian gal, so let's throw some blue aliens in there too, I just
Yeah,
want
let
it
me tell
all.
you, that one could be an interesting adaptation.
Oh, I would love to see that. Oh, can you imagine? Oh, Yes,
I think
Ruby
that's something
Dixon.
that
Oh,
would
she's another
actually do really well, to be honest. I think that is a movie that
I think it
would do
would.
great. I mean, because you're either going to see it because that is your genre and you want to enjoy it, or you're going to see it because the idea of giant blue alien dicks is hilarious. So you're going to, you're going to
Uh,
get a lot
yeah,
of people getting seats and getting tickets for something like that. I think that would do great.
I would watch it. I would watch that in a heartbeat. Reese, where are you at? Reese
Yeah, come on,
Witherspoon,
Reese.
read some Iceland Barbarians.
Step out of your comfort zone a little bit, Reese. We need a new niche in the theaters.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh, I love Ruby Dixon. She's one of my comfort authors. That I've recently discovered within the past like year or two. Gosh, she's so brilliant. I love her. I love her. I need to read more of her. See, I always remind myself like, why'd you stop? What are you doing? You know, but I have to savor it. It's like, it's like a fine wine. You just want to sip it a little at a time. You don't want to just take the whole Ice Planet Barbarians in the bottle. You need to savor each one, each
Well, and
sip.
there's like over 20 books in that series now. Like it's no small series.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's intense. And it's exciting. I love it. I'm all here for it. I honestly did not think I was gonna like this. My book bestie, she was like so obsessed with it, and I'm just like, what is your obsession with this? Like this is we're talking about blue aliens, and then I'm like, oh, we're talking about blue aliens, and then I was just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm hooked. I mean, the writing is good, and like yeah, it was good.
And I
Yeah,
think a
good
lot
one.
of people like they pick up the first book as like almost like a joke. Like, haha, look at these blue aliens.
Yeah.
They're all fucking the blue aliens. How funny is that? And then you just get really, really engulfed in this world that Ruby Dixon has created. And I mean, a 20-book series is impressive. Like
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
dedication, that is some hardcore world building, and she sticks to her world's
Yes.
rules really well. Like there's no like major inconsistencies going on. Everything flows in well.
Yeah. She's got it dialed in. And I say good for her because that's like, that's inspiring for me as a writer. I look at that and I'm like, yes, get it, queen. I want I want to write like that. I want to live like that. That's the dream right there. And to have so many readers just so passionately and all over blue alien sister. I mean, get after it. I'm all here for it.
Yeah, she has basically created her own niche and has dominated it and is our queen.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's fun.
Okay, so we are starting to run out of time here a little bit. It has been so, so wonderful talking with you. I absolutely want to have you back on
This
when
has been so
your
much fun.
second book is out and we can finally talk about that one. So I'm going to give you the mic for a minute for any final messages that you would like to share with us.
Oh no, I first thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm so good to actually like talk to you. You are super supportive within the Bookstagram community and a gem. And I really do thank you so much for supporting me and allowing me to share my story with your readers and to the readers, thank you very much for supporting me as well. And I can't wait to bring more stories to the world for you.
Well, thank you so much. Again, I will be including all of your links and book information in the episode description on Spotify, as well as the Must Love Books podcast Instagram and Facebook pages. And thank you. Thank you. This has been Stephanie or ST Fernandez on Must Love Books podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been Must Love Books. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon under @Must Love Books Podcast. Thank you and happy reading.